everyone. So once again, it is the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021, and I'm coming to you with my yearly beauty empties. So this is a video where I show you all the beauty products that I finished up in an entire year. I did this in 2019 and it's still a really popular video on my channel. I think people just really like seeing what you can accomplish using all your products up in a year. It can also be really satisfying to see all these empty products, and I think it's interesting as well to see kind of how much plastic you'll actually consume in an entire year just in your beauty routine. So for those who might be wondering what I will be doing with all of this plastic, most of it is not recyclable. What is recyclable probably won't get recycled whether or not I put it in the recycling bin. So what I'm planning to do with this lot is buy one of those TerraCycle boxes. They do make a personal box that you can purchase for beauty products and personal products. So that's what I'm planning to do, and then fill that over the course of the next 2 to 3 years and send it off to eventually be properly recycled. That's my plan at the moment. Let me know if you have any other suggestions or what you're planning on doing with your yearly empties. So in this video, I'll be going through all of my categories: makeup, skincare, hair care, body care, and some perfume as well. I'll break down each of the categories, starting with skincare and going through it in the order in which I apply it to my face. But I did also briefly want to touch on how this year of empties compares to last year. In 2019, I decided to collect all of my beauty rubbish because it was my no-buy year, and I wanted to see what kind of impact that would have on my usage, I suppose. Especially last year, I found I had much more in terms of samples and deluxe sizes. I think that's because I was purchasing a lot prior to 2019 and had gotten a lot in gifts with purchase or as freebies in that way. This year I didn't buy nearly as much, and last year of course I didn't buy anything, which meant that I really didn't have that many miniatures to work through, and I think you can kind of see that reflected in these final numbers. In 2019, I finished 162 beauty items, and that valued $3,568.21. And then in 2020, I used up 122 items, which came to a value of $2,479.03. So as you can see, I've used up approximately 40 fewer items than I did in 2019, but I also used up $1,000 less in value. The reason I think that might be is because I used up a lot of drugstore products this year, mostly in the skincare categories, but in the makeup categories as well. And I think that's had a pretty significant impact on the amount of money that I used up this year, but to be completely honest, I'm not that bothered. Other reasons might be that I have completely stopped using some categories of products. Primers as well as body washes, those kind of things I have completely worked out of my routine, which means that they're not really represented in this empties this year. But without further ado, let's just jump straight into my yearly empties, starting with skincare. First up for skincare, we have my makeup removing products. First, I have the Garnier Clean Sensitive 2-in-1 Gentle Makeup Remover, which is a biphase oil makeup remover, and that's why I have the 2 makeup pads here, one from Whispers and one from Woolworths. I also have the Neutrogena Deep Clean Cleansing Oil, as well as the Palmer's Cocoa Butter Formula Skin Therapy Cleansing Oil. Both of those were relatively good. I think I prefer the Palmer's though, and that's the one that I've repurchased. And then I have a cleansing balm as well. This is the Good Molecules Instant Cleansing Balm. This one was a really waxy kind of cleansing balm that I would compare to the Caroline Hirons one for Pixie, as well as the Clinique Take the Day Off Cleansing Balm. I wouldn't buy it again just because the packaging is quite small and I don't love that consistency. I prefer something a little bit more emollient than waxy. For regular face cleansers, I finished 5 in 2020. The first one here is from Dr. Lewin's, and it came in this kind of squashed packaging, and then as you can see, it's leaked all over and it's very yuck. This was the 4 Fusion Cleansing Oil. I did not like this product. I would not buy that again. The Dr. Lewin's Sensitive Cleansing Milk Calming I also finished, and that one basically smelled like Play-Doh and made my skin feel dirtier after I had used it, so I wouldn't buy that either. Then I have the Neutrogena Pore Refining Daily Cleanser, which is a very standard gel cleanser. Gels aren't necessarily my favorite kind of cleansing, so I probably wouldn't buy that again. In the middle is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Cleanser Jelly Milk formula. I find it really comparable to like the Glossier jelly. It's one of my favorite formulas, but I think I'm going to stop purchasing it because Neutrogena is not cruelty free, but if that doesn't bother you, it is one of my favorite drugstore cleansers. And then I have the Andalu Naturals Apricot Probiotic Cleansing Milk. This one I finished right at the end of 2020, and it is my favorite out of all of them. I have repurchased it and I'm using it now. Andalu Naturals is one of my favorite brands at the drugstore, so I really like that, and we'll be trying some more products from their range in 2021, I think. These are the 4 toning products that I finished up in 2020. And interestingly enough, only one of them I actually purchased in 2020, and I've since kind of decided I won't really be buying any more toner products, though I will use them up if they come into my life. So the first one is the Juice Beauty Green Apple Brightening Essence. That is the one that I purchased in January 2020, and I bought it because it was kind of an acidic exfoliating toner, but I didn't actually like it all that much, and I don't think it made much of a difference, so I wouldn't buy that again. The middle is the Body Shop Vitamin E Hydrating Toner, which I think is actually quite a nice hydrating toner. I just don't think I need that in my life. The middle is the Pyongkang Yul Essence Toner, which is a very hyped up toner in the kind of K-beauty skincare realm, but I didn't find it that amazing. I don't even think it did much, so I wouldn't buy that again either. And then the Andalu Naturals 1000 Roses Floral Toner. This is the kind of toner that I would think of when it's more about the experience of using it rather than what it actually does for your skin. It's a really lovely smelling facial mist, which is nice and refreshing. But do I think it does anything? Not really. I only finished one eye cream in 2020. This is the Innisfree Jeju Orchid eye cream. I purchased it because it had a lot of really positive reviews amongst the skincare YouTubers and bloggers. It is a very thick, nice hydrating cream, but eye creams is one of those things that I only really use if it comes as a free gift, and since this one I haven't purchased any additional eye creams, so that's that on that. Here are all of the serums that I used up in 2020. Serums are probably my favorite category of skincare product. They're the ones that I am most willing to spend my money on, and as you can see, they're one of the categories that I use the most up out of. So starting all the way on the left, we've got the Eclairs Freshly Juiced Vitamin Drop. So that's a vitamin C serum, and it's again another very popular product amongst the K-beauty skincare enthusiasts. I didn't think it did very much. I didn't actually like it all that much, and I find it really difficult to believe that the vitamin C stays active and usable in a clear plastic container, but that's just me. The next one is the Edible Beauty No. 3 Exotic Goddess Ageless Serum. This one I actually liked a lot, and I would want to purchase it again. I just really haven't had an opportunity this year, but that's one of the ones I liked the most out of all of these. Next was the Inky List Hepta Peptide. I purchased this from Sephora when the Inky List was still relatively new to the range here in Australia, and I liked it, but I don't really know if I need peptides at this point in my life. I am 26 and I don't think I necessarily need that, though I really like that the Inky List provides really affordable skincare. On the complete other side of the spectrum is the Sunday Riley Good Genes All-in-One Lactic Acid Treatment. This is one of my all-time favorite products. I just absolutely love using it. I love the entire experience, from how it feels, what it does for my skin, what it smells like, the whole shebang. So I did purchase one of those and use it up this year. But shortly after finishing that, I came across the Derma E Overnight Peel, which is also an alpha hydroxy acid, and it is supposed to be a weekly treatment, but I was using it every single night, and I really liked this as well. Unfortunately, since using it up, I think it has been discontinued from Derma E, or at least discontinued from the Australian range, so I can't get it any longer, but I really liked it and would highly recommend if you can get it in your country. It was a really nice comparison to the Good Genes. Next, Mecca in Australia started stocking the brand Volition, and I purchased a kind of starter set from them this year. So I started with the Snow Mushroom Water Serum, which was a very thin hydrating serum. It didn't wow me. I wouldn't buy it again. And then I also tried the Strawberry C Serum, which is a vitamin C brightening serum. Again, I wasn't super wowed, though I definitely did prefer it to the Snow Mushroom. It's just, again, not really something I would buy again because I don't think it has enough oomph to it. Next was a sample I received, I think also from Mecca. This is the Kiehl's Powerful Strength Line Reducing Concentrate. It's a vitamin C and hyaluronic acid serum. I don't particularly remember any feelings towards this one, though I know I won't purchase from Kiehl's because they are not cruelty free and their products aren't spectacular ingredients wise. Another brand Mecca started stocking this year was Pore, so I did want to try some of their skincare. The first one I tried was the Quan Green Booster Serum, which is very Australian. I love the use of the Quan. But this one I don't think did a whole lot. It's kind of marketed as like a health drink for your skin, and it was nice enough, but I wanted something with a little bit more to it. I wouldn't necessarily not buy it again because it is, I think, less than $40, but it didn't wow me. And the last one I actually finished on the last day of 2020. It's the Roche-Posay Pure Vitamin C 10. This is their highly potent vitamin C serum, as they say. But I didn't like this really at all, and I think over the course of using it, it did pretty much completely oxidize. So I wasn't a fan of that, and I would not buy that again. But I think it's a pretty good run to see 10 serums used up in a year. What does that say about my spending? I don't really know. I think I actually entered 2020 with only 2 of these serums in my collection, if even that. So you can see kind of how much serum I'm going through monthly here. Next, I've got the moisturizers that I finished up in 2020. So as you can see, I finished about 6-ish full-sized products. This one over here is not full-sized, but it is pretty large. It's 30 mils, and I finished up 5 sample size moisturizers this year. So we'll start from the far side. I've got the Volition Celery Green Cream. So this I purchased in a kind of sampler set from Volition Beauty. I quite liked this product actually, and I would consider buying it again. I do like having kind of a light gel cream whipped product for my daytime moisturizer. I find it sits really nicely underneath makeup and doesn't interact with any sunscreen or anything I put on top. So I did like this, but it actually got beaten out by the one below it. This was the Youth to the People Superfood Air Whip Moisture Cream. This is a really nice gel cream with like a whipped light texture. I really like that it comes in a glass jar. I really enjoyed this a lot. But it is 59 mils, and I think it retails for over $60 in Australia, so it is a rather pricey one, which means, as you can see, throughout the rest of the year, I was experimenting with some drugstore moisturizers. I definitely put on a lot of moisturizer at night, so for my nighttime moisturizer, I try and get something a little bit more cost-effective, but that doesn't mean I don't like to dabble in the more expensive brands. So I would purchase the Youth to the People again. I really did enjoy it. The one that's laying down here on the ground, this is the Pore Moringa All Beauty Cream. This one is a really nice cruelty-free Australian brand, and I actually really liked this moisturizer a lot. The texture is really nice and light. It sinks into the skin really nicely. The thing I hated is the packaging. It comes in this squeezy tube, which is very nice in terms of getting all the product out, but when you get to about the halfway mark on this product, it becomes very difficult to squeeze all the product out, especially if your hands are covered in any kind of skincare you've already applied. So I found this kind of toothpaste squeeze tube very difficult and very inconvenient for using, so that made me really hesitant to buy it again. Otherwise, I really loved that cream. Then for the full-size drugstore products, I had the Glow Lab Facial Moisturizer. This is a brand from New Zealand that you can purchase at Priceline, and this product in particular, the facial moisturizer, is almost always completely sold out. I think it is rather popular, and it is my favorite drugstore moisturizer. It is so simple, it sinks in the skin really well, doesn't ball up, doesn't have any weird scents, and doesn't leave a tacky feeling on the skin. Whenever I can get it in Priceline or maybe Woolies or Kohl's, I pick it up as soon as I can. It is my favorite drugstore moisturizer, and it's the one I probably use the most at night. Next, we have one that I bought when I couldn't get the Glow Lab. This is the Asano Rosehip Regenerating Facial Moisturizer. This one was okay, not my favorite, not one I think I would repurchase, but it did its job while I was waiting for Glow Lab to come back in stock. As you can see, it's also significantly larger than all the previous moisturizers, and I do appreciate that economics as well as the less plastic waste. The last full-size moisturizer I finished was by Blessed by Nature, the daily facial moisturizer for all skin types, and this was my least favorite out of the full-sized. This one has a very strong lavender scent, and I don't like my moisturizers to have any kind of essential oils in them because it is very damaging to your skin over time, and it can make it sensitive. So I didn't like this one. It also made my skin feel very sticky, and it took a really long time to sink in. Unfortunately, it was also the largest of them all. It's 200 mils, so it took the longest to finish, but I would not buy it again, and I would not recommend it. It was my least favorite by far. I was just about to tell you about this La Roche-Posay Toleriane Ultra Cream, which I remember being a moisturizer, but I can just see now it's actually an eye cream. So I don't know if I did use this on my face or if I used this on my eyes and never actually read the packaging properly, but either way, these are two of the Toleriane Ultra Contour Eyes. This is an eye cream that I may or may not have used on my eyes. That goes to show you how well I remember it. I just got these free samples probably from work. I don't love La Roche-Posay products, and I wouldn't buy those whether or not I use them on my eyes. This then was the Amore Pacific Moisture Plumping Nectar Cream. I like Amore Pacific products. I also really love the packaging. I think it's so cute. This is a little mini that I got from a Mecca Beauty loot box, but they ask for like $200 for a jar of moisturizer, and I just don't think I'll ever pay that amount. So while I enjoyed using it, I would not buy it again. This was the Dr. Dennis Gross Stress Repair Face Cream, an anti-stress kind of moisturizer. It didn't stand out to me at all. I would not buy that. And this was the Darphin Ideal Resource Smoothing Retexturizing Radiance Cream. I probably got 2 uses, if that, out of this little squeeze tube, and I can't remember anything about it, so I would not buy that either. So there you go. Those are all the moisturizers I used in 2020, as well as 2 eye creams that I may have used as moisturizers without realizing, but there you go. These are the 2 oils that I used up in 2020. I use a moisturizing oil of some variety on my skin at night. Usually I'll mix it into my moisturizer as well, and these were just the 2 that I finished up. The first is the Trilogy Rosehip Oil Antioxidant Plus. I really like Trilogy Rosehip Oil. I think it's a really nice quality. It comes from Australia, and I really like using it. It's also pretty affordable from Priceline. So that's one I would purchase again. I just haven't this year, as I'm working through, I think, 2 other oils that came into my life this year. The other one I finished was the Essence of Argan 100% Pure Organic Moroccan Argan Oil. This is from one of those like subscription-based skincare companies that my mom accidentally got tricked into purchasing from, and they sent her, I think, 3 or 4 bottles of this oil before she was able to convince them to not charge her $20 a month any longer. Anyway, this is one that I ended up using on my face at night. It was perfectly reasonable. It is just 100% argan oil. I have another one that I am considering also using, so that might be in my 2021 empties. But otherwise, oil is something I work through really, really slowly, even though I use it every day. Now we enter into my masks or treatment category for skincare. Interestingly about this category, I actually only purchased 2 of these over the course of 2020. The rest either came into my life in 2019 or they were free samples that I got in a variety of different ways. So first, I've got on the far side the Manuka Dr. Api Refine or AP Refine Illusionist Rapid Lift Mask. This I got as a free gift, I think, from Priceline, maybe in 2018 or something. I ended up finishing it this year and it was absolutely terrible. Firstly, because it smells like bleach. I have absolutely no idea why. It wasn't off, that's just what it smells like, and it was disgusting to use. It would leak into my towels and my face wash and my pillow after using it, and it would stay on my skin. It was disgusting and I don't think it did anything, so I finished it up and I wouldn't recommend or repurchase. Next is the Body Shop British Rose Fresh Plumping Mask. This is the second or third jar of this that I've used. I love the Body Shop's Fresh Mask range. This is one of my favorites from them. It reminds me a lot of the Fresh Rose Mask, the one that has real rose petals in it. It looks exactly the same and it's a really nice kind of plumping, brightening mask. I haven't purchased any masks this year, and it's probably something I won't repurchase going forward. As I mentioned in my beauty products I stopped buying. I just don't think masks are something that I need to invest in any longer. But if I do get the urge to purchase something, this one or their Himalayan clay or Himalayan charcoal one is the one that I would be reaching for. Next is the Derma E Microderm Abrasion Scrub. This one I purchased on the recommendation of Hannah Louise Poston. I thought this would be a nice kind of treatment to integrate, as I didn't purchase any masks this year. It is a very, very fine scrub. It also has some acids in it. I think it's got citric acid and some others, so it is kind of a combined physical and acidic facial exfoliator. I enjoyed this product, but it didn't make a huge difference in my skin, so I'm not sure if I would buy it again, but I did enjoy using it while I had it. Then I have a mini of the Volition Turmeric Brightening Polish. This came in a Volition beauty set that I purchased this year, and this was an absolutely standard facial scrub. I don't think it was anything remarkable, and it was a bit thin in terms of the scrub, completely incomparable to the microdermabrasion, so it's not something I would buy. Next is the Kate Somerville Exfoliate Intensive Exfoliating Treatment. This is a cult classic and a product I received as a sample from Mecca Beauty Loop. I do really like this product, but I just have never quite pulled the trigger on buying it. I get a sample of it pretty much every year from Mecca Beauty Loop, and that's kind of enough to tide me over. Next is the Ren Flash Hydro Boost. It is an instant plumping emulsion. I don't really know what this is supposed to do. Is it a brightening product? Is it plumping really? Or is it moisturizing? What is it doing? I don't know. You put it on your skin and you wet it. And that's the process. I don't know, I used up the sample. I wouldn't buy it again, not only because I don't really like Ren products. And then last, I just popped on the end there. This is the CeraVe Moisturizing Cream. This was another sample that I received this year and finished up, and it slipped out of my moisturizing category. So as you can see, I've finished way too many products and I can't keep track of all of them, but this I can add to my moisturizer category. This is the only sunscreen that I finished in 2020. It is the Mecca Cosmetica To Save Face SPF 50+ Super Screen. It is a really, really nice sunscreen. I love the Mecca Cosmetica To Save Face range. In 2020, they also came out with a physical sunscreen from this range that I'm very interested in trying. But a combination of the fact that this year we had quarantine and lockdown that meant that I wasn't going outside for the vast majority of the year, as well as a very surprising diagnosis of a severe vitamin D deficiency, I've actually really pulled back on wearing sunscreen on my face this year, and that means I am still working on one that I purchased back in January. So this remains the only sunscreen I finished in 2020. Last but not least in my skincare category are my two untinted lip balms. So the first is Lanolips Lemonade Lip Treatment. This is a really lovely lanolin based lip balm. It's scented like lemons and has a slight shimmer in it, though I only ever wear these lip balms at night, so that doesn't really do anything for me, but it's a really nice product and I probably would buy that again for a nighttime lip mask. Then I have the Glossier BirthdayBalm.com. This is glorified Vaseline. I think a lot of people understand that. It is not actually meant to be that moisturizing. It is more of a protection product. This one also is the birthday version, which means that it has glitter in it. The glitter is incredibly annoying and not something I would ever recommend, particularly if you're going to use it at night and it smears all over your face and your pillow. But I loved the birthday cake scent. I'm just very glad that I finally used this up. I destroyed the packaging in the process, but I am so glad to get rid of this. Here we have all of the body care products that I used up in 2020. As you can see, it's not all that much. If you're someone who hasn't been following me for a little while now, you might remark on the absolute lack really of any kind of body wash or soap. That's not because I don't wash myself. It's because I actually completely stopped using body wash in 2019. So now the only time I ever get body wash is as free samples or maybe occasionally as a gift. But I also only ever use bar soap. Ideally, I purchase my bar soap unpackaged from my local pharmacy or my local post office, both of whom sell products without any packaging. But again, unfortunately, because of the pandemic this year, a lot of brands stopped selling kind of goat milk soap or bar soap without packaging for hygiene reasons, so that meant that I did end up with 2 of the Billy Goat soaps that came in packaging. Otherwise, I can assure you I used up quite a bit of soap in 2020. I just don't have any packaging to show for it. So firstly, I'll start with the lotions. The first one here I wanted to mention is a mini of the Jo Malone Peony and Blush Suede Body Cream. I received this as a gift with purchase last year and I finished it this year. I love the Peony and Blush Suede range. It is one of my favorite Jo Malone scents, so I really enjoyed using this, but I probably wouldn't splash out on a body cream from this brand because I don't use lotion that often. The only full-size body lotion I finished was the Natio Spa Ultra Hydrating Body Lotion. It is pink because I actually added a liquid highlighter to it. I used I think it was the CoverFX Celestial face drops, whatever those are called. I put that in to make it shimmery, especially for summertime, because that's pretty much the majority of the time that I'm using body lotion. So I did finish that bottle finally this year. Then here I have the L'Occitane Creme Main Hand Cream. This is their 20% shea butter hand cream. I really like this product. I purchased this for like $40 or something insane, but it lasted me for so long. I leave it in my bedside table and use it before bed. I really enjoyed this and I am considering purchasing it again. I really like this product. It's a cult classic from L'Occitane for a reason. Then at the back I've got 2 from Billy Goat Soap. This is the Pomegranate Goat Milk Soap Bar and then the original Goat Milk Soap Bar. They're both just a regular old Australian goat soap. They're perfectly usable and I would buy them again, but like I said, I prefer unpackaged soap. Then through Mecca Beauty Loop, I got a Sol de Janeiro Brazilian Boom Boom Cream sample. This is actually very funny to me because for years I have watched people on YouTube talk about how revolutionary and mind-blowing this cream is, and I always thought, how can it actually be that good? But here's the thing, it is actually that good. I had the mini and I used it mostly on my legs, but the scent is so good when it kind of wafts past you throughout the day. I am seriously considering purchasing a full size of that cream, which seems insane to me considering how expensive it is and how infrequently I use any kind of body lotion. I really liked it that much. Then at the end, I have the only body wash I used this year. This was a Jo Malone Wood Sage and Sea Salt Body and Hand Wash Mini. That was a gift with purchase. Wood Sage and Sea Salt is one of my favorite Jo Malone scents as well. And if I did purchase any kind of body wash, I would buy this in a heartbeat. It was such a pleasant experience to use in the shower. I loved it. And then at the very end, I have this mini of the Marlin & Getz Eucalyptus Deodorant. This is a clear kind of gel stick deodorant. Do I think it does anything? Not entirely sure. I actually hate the scent of eucalyptus, so even if I was interested in this product, I wouldn't buy this purely based on this scent, but I did finish it. So those are the very tiny little collection of body products I finished in 2020. I would buy 2 of them again, and I have seriously considered buying a third. Over the past week or so, I have been preparing my plans for panning for 2021, and I was thinking about my very unsuccessful relationship with panning any kind of nail polish. So I was actually shocked to pull out of my empties bin 3 colored nail polishes that I finished in 2020. But I'll start with the base and top coats. The first one is the Formula X base coat. I think I purchased this 4, 5, maybe 6 years ago. Formula X has since been discontinued. It's no longer available, but this was a perfectly lovely base coat, and I would consider purchasing it again if it was still available. Next is the Opi Top Coat. This one, there's still quite a bit left in it, but it is very, very thick and gluggy, so I'm getting rid of it. This is not my favorite top coat. It's probably one of my least favorite top coats. I love Opi's nail polish formula, but their top coat is not it. Then I finished up the Formula X nail color. I think this is in the color Impeccable. Yep, the color Impeccable. And this is a really nice kind of nude color. Again, I probably purchased this 4, 5, or 6 years ago with that base coat and a top coat and a nail cleaner product, both of which I finished last year. It was nice enough, but I think by the time I got around to finishing it, the purpley hue to the nude color I didn't really like as much anymore, so I'm glad to get rid of that. Then I have a Mavala nail polish. This is the shade Dublin, number 83. I really like this as kind of a neutral terracotta shade. It's great for autumn or the colder weather. I would consider buying that again. I really liked it. I also think Mavala has one of the shiniest, nicest nail polish colors, and I'm not mad at them coming in 5ml bottles because it means I can actually finish it. And then on the far side, I've got China Glaze. This is the shade Sweet Hook. It is my favorite purple nail polish of all time, but this year I came to the conclusion that it was so old I may as well finish it before it dried up and became unusable. If I can find a color even remotely similar to this, I will purchase it. It is my all-time favorite purple and one of my all-time favorite nail polish colors. China Glaze I don't think is even actually really available in Australia. This was gifted to me, I'm gonna say 7 or 8 years ago, and I finally finished it. If you saw my empties video for 2019, you'll know that I usually have a pretty modest hair care finish up at the end of the year. I think I just use not very much product throughout the year. Styling my hair is not really a thing, and I just don't go through it very often. So I was pretty surprised and really happy with the turnout this year. I've got 2 shampoos. The first is the Original Mineral Fine Intellect shampoo. This reminds me of the scent of lolly snakes, and I absolutely loved it. Unfortunately, since finishing it, I found Original Mineral incredibly difficult to get my hands on in Australia. Please let me know if you know a store that you can buy it from, because I would love to buy that again. Then I also finished a Selsun Gold. This is a product for dandruff, but I use it because I have psoriasis on my scalp. I usually use this maybe once a week or once a fortnight to keep that at bay, and I finished one up. Then I have the Living Proof Curl Conditioning Wash. This was the last of the Living Proof Curl products that I purchased when I was in London in 2018, so it did take me a significant amount of time to finish that. It smells exactly the same as Glam Glow Youth Mud Face Treatment. I don't know why, but that's what it reminds me of. I love the Living Proof Curl range, but they have since completely discontinued the range. It's now, I think, a frizz range, and it doesn't have the same products, and I don't know if they're the same, but I loved the curl range. And I'm sad to say goodbye to the last product I have from it. Then I have the Sukin Moisture Restoring Conditioner. This I received for free from work and I just used it up. I don't love Sukin products, especially not their moisturizing ones, because they are so simple. They just don't do enough for me. Then I have the Original Mineral Fine Intellect Conditioner. This one goes along with the shampoo. It also smelled like lolly snakes and I loved that. I also loved the way it felt on my hair. The thing is though, as you can probably see from the crushed inside, it is so thick and the hole in the bottle is so small that it was incredibly difficult to get the product out of the bottle, especially when you're in the shower and you're covered in soap and your hands are wet, and it was a whole thing. So I actually ripped the top of it off at some point and poured all the product into travel containers because I wanted to use the product, but the packaging was awful. So that puts me off buying the conditioner again, but at the same time, I loved the product inside, so if it means repackaging it for my own use, so be it. Then I have the Mixed Chicks Leave-In Conditioner. This is a moisturizer that I get from my hairdresser. I have another one at the moment. It's a really nice, simple leave-in conditioner. I have purchased it again, and I would again on top of that. And lastly, I have a sample that I received from Makeup Beauty Loop. It's the Living Proof Perfect Hair Day Weightless Mask. I've always thought that this kind of product was pretty irrelevant to my hair because it is so coarse and thick and difficult to moisturize, but I actually really liked this product and I would consider purchasing it. It just made my hair so soft, so that was a bit of a surprise. Okay, this category is a little bit tricky to show on camera because these products are so small and they are made out of clear glass, but I will do my best. This is all the fragrance that I finished in 2020. If you didn't know, I do collect fragrances, and that's why I have so many samples, because I order them and they come free with purchases and all that kind of good stuff. So that's what I mainly used up in 2020. First though, I did finish a full size of the Bath & Body Works Fine Fragrance Mist in the scent Japanese Cherry Blossom. My dad bought this back from the US when he was visiting once, and it is an all-time family favorite. My mom and I absolutely adored Bath & Body Works when we lived in the US, and this was one of our favorite scents, so it was really nostalgic to use up the full-size body mist. I think I mainly used it as a room spray. That's my favorite way to use fragrance mists, and I will miss the scent. Then we move on to my miniatures. So first I have the Mason Francis Kurkdjian Aqua Celestia. This is a very kind of bright citrus scent. It's nice enough, but not my favorite by far. And then this was the Aqua Universalis. Again, a very light kind of floral scent, not my favorite. I'm not a huge fan, honestly, of any of the Aqua range from Maison Francis Kurkdjian, but I did purchase a complete kind of sampler set from them, I think at the end of 2017, and I'm slowly working through all of them. Next here, we've got the Juliet Has a Gun Not a Perfume. This is a very famous perfume because it apparently only has one molecule in it, an ambroxan, which means that it can, you know, change scent depending on your skin chemistry. It's also great for layering. I don't love it, but I did use up that sample, so that was enough. I have two of the Clean Reserve range. The first is Suede Oud and the next is Amber Saffron, neither of which are scents that are in my wheelhouse really, so I wouldn't buy either of those, but I did use them up. In terms of samples, I have this one from Diptyque. It is a very odd kind of single-use sprayer, and this was Eau Capitale. This is a patchouli scent that I thought I would actually despise, but in the end wasn't that bad. I just don't think it's something that I would buy a full size of. Along the bottom here I have some 1ml from Lucky Scent. The first one is from the House of Oud. This is the scent Empathy, which is supposed to be a raspberry scent, but to me it smells like nothing. I'm kind of shocked by how little scent that actually had. Next here we've got Hilda Soliani Crema de Latte. I actually ended up buying a full size of that. It is a very milky coffee vanilla. Love it. This was Altea, I don't know, Wonder of You. This was a very kind of simple fruity mango-y kind of scent. Not a huge fan of it in the end. And the last from Lucky Scent, this is Parfums de Marly Cassily. I much prefer Cassily to Delina. It's kind of a powdery apricot scent. I actually really like it. I think it smells not meanly, but I think it smells like a very expensive soap, and I quite enjoyed it. Do I think it's worth over $400? Probably not, but I did really enjoy it. Then I have here two from Ellis Brooklyn. The first is Raven, which is a patchouli scent, and it's really good. I will be purchasing a full size of that eventually. And then Reeves, this is kind of a light green scent. Not my favorite, but not horrible, just not something I'd buy a full size of. This was finally my last Ralph Lauren Woman, a perfectly standard designer floral kind of fragrance. And lastly, Gallagher Fragrances Wicked Good. This is one of their more famous fragrances. To me, it smells exactly like Hershey's chocolate syrup. If you want to smell like that, then that's wonderful. It's not something I loved though. Then these fragrances over here I separated because these are part of my project perfume. This is a project that I started in November, but I'll be running until the end of 2021. So I wanted to keep these separate so that I don't put them in my 2020 empties. The first is another of the miniatures from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. This is Feminine Pluriel, which is kind of a powdery, musky-esque kind of rose scent. I didn't really like it. It sounds like my kind of thing, but I didn't love it. Then I just finished up Byredo Sundazed, which is the kind of scent that reminds me of Maison Francis Kurkdjian Baccarat Rouge 540 or Ariana Grande Cloud. It smells like really warm, sugary skin, but with a bit more suntan lotion added. It's nice enough, but I like the other two better, so I'd stick with those. This is another Ellis Brooklyn. This is their rose scent, a really nice, fresh, fruity rose, but not my favorite. This is from an Australian brand called Metascent. This is the scent Chandra. This is a peachy vetiver scent, and while I do love peach, I don't love vetiver, so I finished it, but I wouldn't buy it. This is again from Altea. This is Yusan, which is kind of a citrus fruity scent. Nothing special to me. And then Altea Don't Cry for Me, another floral, again, not really for me. So I think this is probably the section that the majority of people are waiting out for, and one of the most exciting sections of these kind of end of year videos anyway. This is all the makeup that I finished in 2020. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. Firstly, I've got over here some primers. So the first here, this is the Good Molecule Silicone-Free Priming Moisturizer. I received this as a free sample in a Beautylish order, I believe, and it was fine, but I don't really use primers. I don't think they have a whole lot to say in my collection. And then next is the Smashbox Photo Ready Primerizer. This is a product that I wanted to try for many years, mostly I think off the recommendation of the Anna edit, and then I did finally get a very tiny little sample this year and I finished it up. Again, I liked it enough, but it's not something I would buy. Then I have my two foundations that I finished this year. Both of them are actually tinted moisturizers. The first is the Pixi H2O Skin Tinted Face Gel. This I get in the shade number 1. This is the second tube of this that I've ever used, and I actually think it will be my last, mostly because I kind of realized in 2020 the color isn't great. Then I have the Juice Beauty Stem Cellular CC Cream in SPF 30. This is basically a moisturizer. There's almost no tint to it at all, but it gives a really dewy finish to the face, and that is why I love it. I probably will buy this again, though to be honest, the Tarte Maracuja Tinted Moisturizer is really giving it a run for its money. I finished one concealer this year. This is the Rituel de Fille Conceal and Cover in the shade NYX. It is the lightest shade shade that they do. It's quite yellow on my skin, and it took a very long time to finish, especially considering the packaging busted not long after I started using it. It's probably something I wouldn't buy again, but I did enjoy using it up. I finished one powder in 2020, and this is a sample of the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. It's not my favorite product. I do prefer a loose translucent powder to any kind of pressed powder, but this isn't my favorite one, and I wouldn't purchase a full size of it. Then over here, I actually finished 2 highlighters this year, which felt like kind of a miracle to me. First, this is a miniature of the Hourglass Vanish highlighting stick in the shade Champagne Flash. I got this in a Mecca Beauty Loop box, and it took me something insane like 4 or 5 months to finish. It's a very dry formula, and this shade Champagne Flash is quite golden, so it's not something I would buy, but I did finish it. I also finished up the MAC Cream Color Base in the shade Shell. This is a very sheer, pinky, kind of glittery shade. It is much sheerer and more glittery than I realized before I started panning it, but I did manage to finish it this year, and I'm very glad to be able to firstly get a non-cruelty-free product out of my collection, but also to back to MAC this. I finished 2 eyebrow products this year. The first is the NYX Control Freak Eyebrow Gel. This I think is absolutely useless and does nothing for controlling your brows. It is just kind of a clear product you brush through, but it doesn't have any kind of hold. It doesn't dry. It's worthless. Then I finished up this is the Well People Expressionist Brow Gel. I got this in the shade Brown, and it kind of confirmed for me that I do not like tinted brow gels. I only want untinted from now on, but it did have a really nice tiny little brush. It's just that I don't want a tinted brow gel. I finished one eye primer. This was the Revlon Colorstay Eyeshadow Primer. It does have a slight tint to it, and I would describe it as a very oily kind of primer consistency. Not my favorite, even though I wouldn't buy Revlon again because it's not cruelty free. This did take me years to finish, and I'm very glad to have it out. I finished one cream eyeshadow this year. This was the Kiehl Long Lasting Stick. This is in the shade number 13, which was kind of a duochrome or iridescent purple kind of blue shifting product. It was okay, but I definitely wouldn't buy it again. I'm just really glad to have finished up an entire stick. I also finished 2 pans of eyeshadow this year. This one I depotted from the Stila Eyes Are the Window Soul palette. It was the Cool Tone Matte Brown from that palette. I also finished this eyeshadow from Bare Minerals. This was the matte cream shade from the Bare Sensuals palette. Both of those I depotted and then finished up in 2020. I've got 4 mascaras that I finished in 2020, 3 full size and 1 miniature. I'll start with the mini. This was the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes mascara. I actually liked this a lot more than I thought I would. It's the first time I've used this Tarte mascara. The wand is pretty narrow, but I did actually really like that and thought it was good, so I may consider buying a full size of that. The other here is the Revlon Mega Multiplier mascara. I remember really loving this mascara a few years ago. It's a tubing mascara, and it's really nice for lengthening. However, this second go around, I found it really difficult to apply, in the sense that every time I did, I'd get it on my eyelids somehow, and that was very frustrating. It's also a very flaky mascara, and it would kind of fall down onto my cheeks throughout the day or get into my eye. So I kind of got rid of it before it had dried up because I found it incredibly fiddly. So unfortunately, my love for that mascara has definitely faded. This was the Max Factor Masterpiece Max Mascara. This one out of all of them has the kind of plasticky bristled brush, and I liked it nice enough. I used it until it dried out, but it wasn't anything absolutely revolutionary to me. My favorite of all of them, though, I think would be the L'Oreal Volume Million Lashes. I do like a really big kind of wand like this. I find it really nice for volume and length, and I would consider buying this again if L'Oreal was cruelty-free. I also finished up 2 eyeliners. These are both from Flower Beauty. First one is the Vinyl Eyes Glossy Gel Eyeliner. This one I actually found got very, very dry in the end, and I didn't love that at all. I also didn't think it was incredibly glossy, so not sure about that. The other one, this is the Forever Wear Long Wear Eyeliner in the shade Onyx. This was, again, nice enough. There's a little tip here at the end, but I can't get it really close enough to my eye to actually finish, so I just said goodbye to it. This one also I didn't love. I don't think I like mechanical pencils like this for eyeliner anyway, so I've kind of decided I won't buy any more of them. For lip products, I had a really successful year actually. This was the Dior Lip Glow lip liner that my friend gifted to me. It was basically a clear lip liner that kind of pH adjusted to a bright pink. I finished it up so incredibly fast, so I would never pay full price for this, even if Dior was cruelty-free. In terms of tinted lip balms, I finished up this. This was the Glossier Generation G lipstick in the shade Cake. As you can see, it is the original packaging, and you can probably guess why they changed the packaging. I think it was this year or at the end of last year. The lid cracked very early on with this, which made it not super safe for putting into your bags. Also, it became very dirty, very grubby, and the Glossier name definitely rubbed off completely. It so happens that this one broke, and so I wasn't able to finish it completely, but it wasn't my favorite anyway. I've decided I am not a matte lip balm person. This was the L'Oreal Sexy Balm in Break the Rules. It was a very glossy orange kind of shade. Wasn't very moisturizing, and I didn't love it, but it was okay, and I'm glad to have finished it to bring another L'Oreal or non-cruelty free lip product out of my collection. The only lipstick that I finished in 2020 was this Stila Lip Balm. This is the Color Balm lipstick in the shade Vivienne. I really like this formula. It's actually been discontinued from Stila, but I also loved this color. It's a very nice kind of dark neutral rose with a little bit of like kind of a burnt aspect to it. It's very, very comfortable on the lips, has a lovely minty taste, or scent I should say, and I really, really loved this lipstick. It's the only one I finished this year, but I loved it, and if it was still available, I'd probably buy it again. I'm so pleased to say that I finished 3 lip glosses this year. I think this is the most lip gloss I've ever finished in a year. This one is from Bare Minerals. I think it's the Generation or the Gen Beauty or something, some play on words with the word generation, and it's their Buttercream lip gloss formula. It's one of my favorite lip gloss formulas, and unfortunately since releasing they have more than halved the color range, discontinued the vast majority of them. This was in the shade Cosmic, which I believe has been discontinued. I loved the color. It was a very nice peachy pink, but it had a very strong pink glitter in it, which was very gritty on the lips. So if you're going to get any of the lip glosses from this range, I recommend getting one that's just a cream without the glitter, because the glitter was a setback for sure. I also finished up this. This was the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Creme Brulee. I like the kind of formula of these. I just don't think the colors are very flattering, mostly because the vast majority of them have a very white base, and I think it makes your lips look weird and milky. It's not the kind of thing that I really enjoy. But for any of you wondering, the packaging on these butter glosses is clear. It just so happens that because of the way that they're packaged, it's very difficult to get the product out from the sides, and I didn't like this one really enough to take the stopper out. It had started to turn. If you can see, there's a bit of discoloration at the bottom there, so I just used as much as I could. This one I actually finished on December 30th, so I really came down to the wire with this one. It's the Too Faced Sweet Peach Creamy Peach Oil Lip Gloss in the shade Papa Don't Peach. I love peach scents, and I really loved when Too Faced came out with the peach range, but this was actually the only product I ended up purchasing from the Sweet Peach range. And while I did really enjoy the formula, the color was a little bit off, a little bit too brown for my liking, and I have since decided that I will no longer be supporting Too Faced. So I did enjoy using this one, even though it only has 4 mils. It took me 4 years to finish, but I am so glad to be saying goodbye to it at the end of 2020. So there you go. Those are all of the products that I used up in 2020. Here is a final look at them once again laid out for you. I am quite impressed with how much I managed to use up this year. A lot of full-size things and a lot of things that I had just hanging around that I really needed to move out. I am really excited to do this once again for 2021, particularly as always I'm interested in seeing my makeup category expand even further. I'm really interested in whittling down my collection further and further and making sure that I am using only products that I really enjoy and that have a real place in my collection, in my life. I have a lot of projects planned for 2021 to use up things. I've already started my project perfume, and I am going to be doing a Pan That palette and Beauty A to Z, as well as maybe some other things here and there. We'll see how it goes. But I will have those videos linked as they come out. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video. I do enjoy it, even though it is a little tedious to gather and then rearrange all of these empty products. But I hope this has been interesting for you and maybe even inspiring to let you know that you can use up all of these products and move them out of your life. You don't need to be overwhelmed by them. It is possible. There is light at the end of the tunnel. So once again, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Goodbye.